do these stretches in front of the fireplace at night, or if we're watching a show, I do these. I've noticed significant change in my flexibility. So after 15 years of yoga, I'm seeing a difference in my lower body, just because I've practiced this kind of sequence every night for 20 minutes. So here we go. I want you to have all the props available to you. So a strap, blocks, blanket will all be helpful. All right, start on your back. Have your strap off to the side. And plant your feet down, knees together, and then Supta Baddha Konasana. So knees wide, big toes touch. We'll just do about 1 minute of centering, and then we'll get into our stretching. One hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Close your eyes. Take a moment to notice how you're feeling. Maybe you feel really great in some areas of your body, maybe other areas feel not so great. So just noticing and being the witness to your breath, being the witness to your thoughts. Witnessing those thoughts without judgment, without attachment. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Good, draw your knees together, bring them into your chest, and then just take a few circles in each direction, massage your low back. Take your feet back down to your ground. Draw your right knee into your chest, and then if you think you might want a strap here, go ahead and grab it and place it around the bottom of your foot. Now, from here, you want to check in and see if your low back is totally glued down. So that's not what I'm looking for. You want to tilt your pelvis more forward, your pubic bone down, so that there's a little space between your low back and the mat. That's great alignment for you and keeps your back in its natural state, or your spine. With your left leg, you can take it out long. And then to make sure that we let your arms relax, you can just wrap the strap around your arms and let them just hang. So you don't have to use any muscle. All right, so here we are. Press up through the inseam of your leg or your foot. So your inner arch, press up. And then you can play with pressing also with the ball of your foot, pointing your foot, and then flexing, pointing, flexing, pointing, and flexing. Good. Deepen your breath and see if you get your leg a little bit closer to your torso. Ground down through your left leg, your left heel. And as your body allows and as your breath guides you, see if you can deepen your stretch. And then slowly you'll unwind, or release the right knee to your chest. And before we switch sides, take your right leg long, and do you already notice a difference? Just quick bit of stretching on one side, that's it. So let's even ourselves out, left knee into chest, loop the strap around, extend your leg. So this I already know is my tight side. So loop, strap around your hands. Turn your pubic bone down, stay strong in your leg that's extended on your mat, or bend your knee and root your foot down. And you can see if my theory here works, if you root your low back down so that your tailbone starts peeling up, yeah, you totally can get more space and get your leg closer. But what if you press your pubic bone down to give that space between your low back and your mat? Perhaps you even feel a deeper stretch in the backs of your legs because you are in correct alignment. So correct alignment gives us freedom in our poses, more space in our stretching. And sets us up for longevity in our practice. 2 more rounds of breath. Relax your face, relax your jaw. You can, of course, play with pointing and flexing the foot. And then bend your knee. Take your leg long. All right, so bend both knees, feet on your mat. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Reclined pigeon or figure 4 stretch, so you can organically draw your right knee away from your face, flex your toes, flare your toes. Keep your low back off your mat. So you got that natural curve, and then draw the shape toward your chest. You can interlace fingers around the top of your shin, and then root down into the ground. And with the part that's lower than your low back. Now from here, you're just going to tip over to your left a little bit so that your right hip comes off the mat. And keep your right knee drawing to the front of your mat. But you should feel more of a stretch in your outer hip, your right glutes, maybe into your low back. Flare your toes. And you're just kind of hovering here, so your right hip is off your mat. Balancing on your left side of your pelvis, sits bone. And then come back through center. Left foot down, right foot down. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Flare your toes. Take your shape toward your chest. Interlace your fingers around your shin. Draw your pubic bone down. Rock a little side to side. So if your head is lifted way up here, I mean, it's okay as long as you don't feel strain on your neck, but you could support the back of your neck with a block. Or the back of your head. Now you're going to rock over to your right, so your left hip hovers off the mat, organically pressing your left knee toward the top of your mat, and then just balancing here on your right side. And then roll back. Unhook the foot, grab behind the thighs, rock and roll up to a seat. Legs out long in front of you. You might get a blanket ready. Take your hands by next to your hips. Lift up your butt and scoot your sits bones back so your pelvis is tilting forward. So if you're sitting up here and you are already rounding back, I want you to take your hips up on a blanket or a block so that when you sit, your pelvis tilts forward and you feel more support in your spine. Again, just bringing your back into alignment. And then bend your right knee, click your toes down, and you can take your right knee out to the side or more toward the back of your mat. Draw your left hip back a little bit. Ground down through your left femur bone, left heel. Walk your hands outside this extended leg and match your torso up as well. And walk your fingertips forward. Notice when you start to round, so this is about my point, where I kind of just want to drop down, but that defeats the purpose of this stretch. So we're looking for lengthening out through our hamstrings, a nice stretch in your QL muscle, which is right here on my left side. You probably feel it getting stretched right now on your right side. And then if you have space, maybe you grab your foot, and if you're really flexible, you're going to take one of those blocks past your foot and even grab past the block. Hug your left hip back. Let your breath guide you deeper into the pose, the posture. Lead with your heart, lead with your sternum. New to the practice or feeling especially tight, you always have your strap here, and you can help guide the torso toward your foot. Keep your spine nice and long. Good, slowly come up. Straighten the right leg. And switch. Bend your left knee, toes click down. Right leg is straight, hug your right hip back. Left knee is out to the side or maybe even further back. Root down into both sits bones equally. Walk your fingertips forward, hinging at your hips. Be mindful if you start to round. Ground down through your right femur bone. Ground down through your right heel. And breathe. Making sure you're moving with ease and compassion, no forcing anything. Slowly come back up. All right, now we're gonna head into baby cradle. Left leg long, bend your right knee, and you'll take it out to the side. So I think I'll just come at an angle here so you see. So draw your knee out to the side, to the right. And then cradle your foot and low shin. So right forearm underneath, right shin, left hand is around my left foot. Draw your shin more away from your torso and then extend through both sides of your ankle. So you're kind of squaring off your ankle. So stay here, move a little bit, see how this is feeling. Draw your low back up and in, spine stays tall. Good, now if you're ready to move on, you'll take your left arm around your left foot, so the foot is above the elbow crease, and your right arm wraps around your right knee. You can take your right wrist, right hand, and grab your left wrist, and then from here, you can rock a little side to side. Inhale, move your lifted knee away from your torso. Exhale, draw your shin toward your chest. So this is not comfortable for me, but I don't have pain in this pose either. So I'm just breathing through sensation. This is how we get more flexible and open. knee presses away. Exhale, shin toward your body. Low back in and up, spine tall, ground down through your sits bones. Now slide your right leg over your left so your knees stack up. Click your toes down. Take your hands next to your hips, lift up, slide your sits bones back. So this may feel pretty intense, pretty deep, and you may not want to add on, or you're gonna go over onto your left hip, bend your right knee, and the heels are outside of the hips, so you're not sitting on your heels. Toes click down, and then you can take your hands to help stack your knees. Sits bones stay back, pubic bone back between the thighs to widen the back of your pelvis. And if your right sits bone is lifted up a whole bunch, take a blanket and just pad that right side so that both sits bones are grounded. Stay. And then if you have space, walk your hands forward. You can tent your fingertips and press your pelvis down. Drop your head. Relax your neck and take in a few rounds. Inhales, exhale. Deep, steady breath. Inhale, nose. Stick out your tongue. Lion. Walk your hands back up. Roll off to your left hip and slowly unwind. So take your feet out hips width distance and then just windshield wiper your knees side to side. And we'll switch sides. So heading into my tight side, right leg extends out, left knee draws back, and then you're shifting the shin in front of your body. So I can already tell this is just way more tight, so I'm gonna be super cautious. Left arm comes underneath the lower part of your left shin, and then just cradle your right hand or your foot in your right hand. Down into your sits bones, pubic bone faces forward, down, your pelvis tilts forward. Now, if you have more space, left arm wraps around left knee, right foot or left foot inside right arm. So you can even lean back a little bit. Try to get the foot caught up in there. And then you can grab your left wrist with your right hand. Spine is tall, move around. You don't have to be rigid in these poses. As you see, I'm moving quite a bit to make sure that I'm not injuring any place in my body, that I don't feel pain, but I also want to get some more movement into these places. A few more rounds of breath. Inhale, draw your shin away from your torso. Exhale, draw your shin closer toward your chest. One more inhale. Good, exhale. So, take your left leg over your right, stack your knees. And then maybe moving on, right onto your right hip, stack your knees here, click your toes down. Redistribute the weight with your sits bones, and right now my left one is up a little bit, so I'm going to take a block. So settle in. Spine is in and lifts. Enjoy your breath. As you're ready to move on, hinge at your hips. Walk your fingertips forward and press your booty back. Relax your face, relax your jaw. Slowly come on up and release, unwind. Take both legs out in front of you. Bend your knees deeply and wrap your hands outside of your feet. And then slowly start to walk your heels out. And when you feel a deep, intense stretch, see that I'm keeping my spine nice and straight. Pelvis is tilting forward. I've got my lumbar curve back. But I'm going to stay here until I feel like I can move on. And my breath will guide that movement. Also use your strap. Hinge at your hips. Nice tall spine. Lead with your heart. Lead with your sternum. Good. Slowly come up. Release. Bend your knees. Plant your feet down. Come all the way down to your back. Draw your knees into your chest. Baby. And then bring your feet sits bones distance apart and take your knees over to the left. Gaze to the right, arms out like a letter T, shoulder blades melt down. Knees come back through center, over to the other side. Switch the gaze. Good. Bring your knees back through center. Couple ways you can end this. Come back to Supta Baddha Konasana. You could even take one block under each knee just so that the knees can fully surrender down, but also have some support. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Another great way to end, of course, is Shavasana. But my favorite restorative pose, and one of my just top 5 favorite poses, is legs up the wall. So this is just a great way to calm down your central nervous system. It's like an instant effect for me. This pose, I feel in my body right away. It calms my system down. So if you are just feeling really overwhelmed or anxious, come into legs up the wall. So wherever you're at, I want to invite you to stay there, especially if you are taking this in the evening. Stay with legs up the wall, stay in Shavasana. And I'll just let you linger there. Thank you for practicing